What was my first Kentucky Derby like? Well, my father's a trainer, so I had always said that I would never attend the Kentucky Derby until he had a horse running in it. It's such an honor to even have a horse in the starting gate, and that dream for my father and for our family came true in 2014 with a horse named Dance with Fate.
Number 12, Dance with Fate, traveled from California to win the Bluegrass Stakes on synthetic poly track.
We were ecstatic to just be there, soaking up every moment we could, and he finished 6th. And I know 6th doesn't feel like a win, but when you run into Horse of the Year, California Chrome, doesn't sound too bad.
But California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby!
It was a surreal experience and something I'll never forget.
I have worked exactly one Kentucky Derby. Last year was my first time, a unique experience for me.
Hello everyone, I'm Ahmed Fareed. It's already been an exciting day on the undercard of Derby Day 145.
A unique experience for pretty much everyone in the way that it ended last year.
They disqualified him.
They did. So for the first time in the history of the Kentucky Derby, the horse that crossed the line first has been disqualified.
But I know personally, for myself, the reality exceeded the expectation. You know it's going to be a big event. You know it's huge. It's iconic. But actually being there, hearing the roar of the crowd, being part of the party, it is so unique.
My first Kentucky Derby call was 2011, back when Animal Kingdom won the race.
And as they load into the gate, let's go for the call to Larry Colmus.
The horses were going around the turn and my binoculars were steady, but my legs were shaking like crazy.
Then Animal Kingdom, nothing yet from Dialed. He still has about 15 horses to pass. They're into the stretch.
I got a chance to go to the 2011 Kentucky Derby as a fan for the first time in my life. And I got a chance to see Animal Kingdom win the Run for the Roses.
And it's Shackelford with the rail and Nero on the outside. These two Animal Kingdom roaring down the center of the track. Here comes Animal Kingdom in the middle of the racetrack to grab the lead. And then it's Nero and Shackelford, but it's Animal Kingdom and John Velasquez to win the Derby!
A lot of nerves involved, but a whole lot of excitement too. I'll never forget that day.
My first Kentucky Derby coverage was in 2001, so this year would be my 20-year anniversary, and what a 20-year anniversary it will be. I'll always remember my first live Kentucky Derby. It was 1988, and it was the year that Winning Colors went wire to wire with Gary Stevens on board. I think it was probably most memorable for me because she was a filly, and she was the only filly racing against the boys that year. And so obviously I was rooting for her, as with all the other women who were there. But when she actually crossed the wire first, I have to admit I shed a lot of tears of joy, and all the women around me were also crying, and it was an experience that I will never forget, and I'm so grateful that that was my first one.
What was my first Kentucky Derby experience like? Well, like most everyone's, it was unforgettable. It was 1981 and Pleasant Colony won the race. But for me, just a few months on the job in local television, my first local TV job, it was my first major event to cover. And I was so impressed by how big Churchill Downs was, walking over from the barn to the winner's circle and just seeing all the people there, almost 150,000, the second largest crowd of all time at that time.
1997, 18 years old, didn't know a soul, freezing cold, completely mesmerized.
My first Kentucky Derby experience would have been 1987. I would have been 11 years old. My father flew the family out. He was riding a contender, Masterful Advocate. And I remember thinking that was the first time I ever really cared about the outcome of a horse race. In the end, didn't go well. Masterful Advocate didn't run well. Ali Sheba won that year. But I all of a sudden took this somewhat of an interest in horse racing. And Derby would roll around and I'd be bugging my father, who you run in the Derby? Do you think you have a chance this year? Do you think we can go back? And that was the only race that I would kind of bug Dad about. The only race I cared about for years was the Derby, based on that first experience.